Y'all, this is Marley K. Hope y'all are well. Hope y'all been keeping up with the news that's going on around the world. It's a lot of stuff going on. The world is hot on fire with war. And um, I just want to say that it's coming here. We can think that we're going to be exempt and nothing is going to happen on this soil. But let me tell you, there are plenty of sleeper cells here. People been skimming across the border like coffee overflowing out of a coffee pot. And those people are oftentimes located in African American, historically black communities or in close proximity to those communities. So we need to talk about what this thing gonna look like when things get to popping off because a few days ago, Papa said things was gonna get bad for black people in particular. They love calling us out, and so I don't take lightly when they call us out directly and associate some bad stuff to us. I believe what they say. Just like Papa said when he before he took office that we were going to have to work with these groups because we the reason that America is in trouble or failing or whatever he said that was negative. And it's like, how? We don't have no power. We don't have no money. Y'all keep us out of everything. How is it that America is in trouble because of black people? But since the awakening and since now I know who we are. I know why America is in trouble, and I know why it's because of black people in particular. It's because we are who we are. We're the chosen people, and as long as they hold us in captivity, and as long as they do not do reparations, yes, America's in trouble. And most white people in this country are unrepentant. They refuse to pay for the sins of their forefathers, but understand that they are uh, said Christians and believe that we are supposed to be in captivity and pay for the sins of our forefathers. So the cognitive dissonance of this nation is going to come home to roost. Unfortunately, we are going to be collateral damage, and so that's what I want to talk about. And I want to use these stories from, what's going on in Israel as an example and a bellwether for what is going to happen here. There are so many different types of people here in America living in all sorts of places. And so when those people wake up and do whatever they are here to do on behalf of their respective nations, it's a wrap. And it's coming because white people are talking about it. I've watched several videos over the last couple of days where white people are scared to death. All they're talking about is being strapped and having weapons and, keeping your head on a swivel. They're referring to the open border. They're referring to what happened in Israel when Hamas went in and dragged people from their homes. Now, as African American person, we don't never know what nobody gonna do to us because the whole world knows that white people have treated black people like shit, excuse my expression, for 400 years, killing us, not being fair, keeping us out of the workforce, redlining, putting highways through our communities, doing medical experimentation on our children and women, men, just the whole community in general, um, giving us bad food. Um, it's so many things. Programming, predictive programming, bad education, bad information, bad loans, excluding us from government programs, even though we are citizens born on the soil. So it's not like the rest of the world doesn't know how America treats us. But when the bad happens, the one thing that we don't know is when they go to knocking at doors to pull people out of their houses and do stuff, you don't know where they're going. Now, typically, people don't be fooling up with us because you know we gets down when we need to get down. But when it's something like this, you don't know where people are going to wake up and start doing stuff, and you don't know who they're targeting and why. For me, in my good mind, because black folks mind their business and we don't be bothering people, we tend to do harm to each other more than we do harm to other people. We definitely don't fool with other cultures and other groups. So when it comes to, say if there was some type of um, event, I got to be careful with my words, some type of event, we don't know, what will happen to us or how other groups will feel about us. Is it just do stuff to anybody, or is it certain groups, or is it where you live, where you go get the most bang for your buck? We just don't know. So I want to share these stories from the times of Israel about encounters that people in, and this is about collateral damage. So people who were in Israel, had their homes invaded. And a lot of these people, they were not poor people. They lived in nice neighborhoods. And when the invaders invaded, they came for men, women, and children, and they killed a lot of people. Likewise, a lot of the invaders were also killed. But what we have to think about in this country is that time is winding down. We know Babylon is falling. We know there's just a matter of time. Um, with this latest encyclical. We got COP28 coming up, I think in November. And the economy is getting ready to collapse. The de-dollarization is happening rapidly, and nobody's talking about it. Very few people are talking about it. And so the global economy is going to collapse. And so in order for the new thing to arise, the old thing has to fall. And while a lot of things are happening, I think we've been conditioned and misled by the Christian church to believe some events that are happening are getting ready to be the Battle of Armageddon, and all these six people thinking they're getting ready to get raptured up out of here. And it's just wow to me how many people think that they're not gonna have to go through some stuff. And so I don't want my people to think for 1 minute that they're not going to have to go through some things to get out of here. We're going to go through some stuff. We're going to see some stuff. And I, for one, don't think that they have these 2024 and 2025 prophecies and plans for nothing. So let's talk about this story in Israel, in the times of Israel. It's called Israel at War, in the section called Israel at War. So it says survivors share accounts of encounters with terrorists and an escape from Gaza. So it says residents of the Gaza border communities recount what happened to them in and around their homes in the terrifying hours of the Hamas invasion. Now, I'm going to say this. I, for one, don't believe that this was um, a surprise. I think it was planned. Because, I mean, you think about Israel. Israel trains police. Israel trains our police around the country. They train police and specifically to target our asses. So, some of the things that you see in a lot of these cities, you look at a lot of these police and where they received training, you will find a lot of these police who are engaged in police brutality have some type of training that came from Israel. Not only that, we send billions of dollars every year to Israel for, a variety of things. They're supposed to have the best air missile defense, the best, nuclear weapons, the best military in the world. One of the best. I would say that. One of the best. I don't know who has the best, but they're supposed to be top notch, top tier. Because of us, because of our tax dollars, because of our labor. So to think that they just were caught off guard is insane to me. I don't believe it. And so, when I watch these stories, I watch them with a grain of salt because I understand, you know, they defended themselves until just now when the whole world is at war. Suddenly, you can't see nothing. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. So, anywho, getting back to the story. So it says a woman from Kibbutz Holit, located just 2 kilometers from the Gaza Strip, is sharing the harrowing story of her abduction and incredible escape after terrorists dragged her from her home along with 2 small children and attempted to bring them to Gaza as hostages. It's just one of many painful stories of atrocities, murders, kidnappings that took place Saturday in the Gaza border communities, now coming to light in the aftermath of the attacks, even as attempted infiltrations continue and battles rage close to the Gaza Strip. So Avital Alajim, I guess, told Channel 12 she was hiding out in her home's safe room with one neighbor and communicating with her next door neighbor via WhatsApp when Hamas terrorists blew up Alajim's front door and entered the house at 1:30 p.m. Saturday. Now you have to be asking why they chose her house. Who was she? So we don't have any background on these people. We don't know if they were wealthy, they were connected to politicians or leaders, why they chose this community and why they chose these houses. So it said the women dashed to hide from the terrorists. The neighbor who was hiding together with Alajim was discovered by the gunman, shot and killed. Alaj- Alajim was also found and was pulled out of the closet where she was hiding. The gunman then brought her children from next door, ages 4.5 months and 4, and began walking the 3 of them through the kibbutz. Vital Kaplun or Kaplon is missing. I guess that's the children's parent. Everything was destroyed and full of blood. They took us from the house. They took us from house to house with shooting all around as they burned the houses and the cars, Alajim said. With one of the terrorists carrying the screaming 4-year-old and on his shoulders. Oh gosh, what happened? Just moved on its own. Okay, with one of the terrorists carrying the screaming 4-year-old on his shoulders and Alajim holding the infant, they were marched to the fence surrounding the kibbutz and then on toward the Gaza Strip. Many kids and the terrorists, said Alajim, weeping as she spoke. Quick, quick, they kept saying. After the terrorists brought Alajim and the children into Gaza, they left them standing alone. Thinking on her feet, Elijah turned around with the children and began walking them back to the kibbutz. She passed more gunmen and hid with the children in the sand dunes, slowly making her way back. We continued, and I believed we'd get back home, she said, adding that she had no idea how much time had passed. When they entered the kibbutz, Elijah saw other kibbutz members leaving in their cars and told the 4-year-old that he would see his father soon. The three were taken to the nearby community of I don't know how to say that, Gulat, where the children were eventually reunited with their father. I'm alive, but their mother is missing, said Elijah of Vital Kaplun, 33, a Canadian citizen whose fate is still unknown. No one's coming to help. Other survivors of their loved ones are also recounting what happened during the harrowing hours that they huddled in sealed rooms of their kibbutz homes in Ream, Ofakim, Holit, Beeri, Netiv, Ha'asara, and other communities. Riot Karp writes on being on the phone with her young daughter after her former husband, Dvir Karp, from whom she was separated, tried to protect their two young children and his girlfriend, all four of them sequestered in the safe room of his house in Kibbutz Rim. Now, what I find interesting is everybody got a safe room in their house. Um, it's just really interesting reading these stories, but how these invaders know what they have and come with stuff to blow the doors off and get in anyway. Um, so that, it's just interesting to me that they know all this, the terrorists know all this stuff about the people that they are pursuing. Karp and his girlfriend Stav were killed by Hamas terrorists in front of the children. The terrorists wrote on the wall with lipstick, "The people of Al Qassam don't murder small children." Rayut, home in her apartment miles away, kept her young daughter on the phone for hours until the neighbor was able to come and get the children out of the house. It was dreadlocks and tattoos that helped Ricarda Luke identify her daughter, Shani Luke, a social media influencer and tattoo artist who moved to Israel from Germany with her mother a few years ago. Luke was at the Supernova Festival outside of Kibbutz that was invaded by Hamas gunmen. She was kidnapped by the terrorists and seemingly unconscious when they display her exposed body on the back of a truck in Gaza, where onlookers spit on her. Bar Hefetz from Kibbutz Niram shared Instagram post of the avocado harvest and lychees grown in the kibbutz fields just last week, but now she shares pieces of what happened to her and her family. Hefetz and her partner, along with her sister, were in one sealed room while other members of their extended family were in two other sealed rooms in the houses. My father, 70 years old, and after 35 years, took his gun out of the cupboard and planned on using it. To hear crazy shooting outside and yelling in Arabic, to see people screaming hysterically on WhatsApp that terrorists are walking around their house and they're holding onto the handle of the door of a sealed room. A couple with a baby 1 month old, the terrorists burned their house and their choking from smoke in the sealed room, and no one's coming to help. Meanwhile, other friends on WhatsApp are starting to tell the terrors they experienced. Finally, the army arrives, knocks on the door, and 400 people, babies, cats, and Thai workers, and Saudi workers, and pregnant women, and people who had experienced everything in 1948 emerge. You're not sure how you'll recover from this. But then comes the news about captives and dead, and then names start coming in. My kid's teacher, a friend from work, a friend whose daughter was captured, a friend who both kids were kidnapped, and more, wrote Heifetz. And then the stories of the guy who lay on his partner and took the gunfire and died, and Bedouin, Bedouin friends who entered the nature party with guns and simply tried to rescue people. My 95-year-old grandma sat in the sealed room with with her foreign caregiver, and the terrorists burst in there, and Savta laughed at them, and the foreign worker gave them a NIS 200 bill, and they just walked out. In Ofakim, a woman identified as Rachel told Channel 12 that when the Hamas terrorists burst into her home with Kalashnikovs and grenades, she sat them down for coffee and cake, recommending they eat something so they wouldn't be crazed with hunger. She said, "You're white in the face. Eat something sweet. That will feel good." Rachel distracted them long enough that the police were able to arrive and kill the terrorists, saving her and her husband. More on this astonishing story here. So, I don't want to read all the stories, but I'm going to put this in the description. But the thing that I'm concerned about is, like, these are things that we don't understand. We don't know how to um, we can't even imagine that these things would happen here because they never happen here. And so I just, I we don't know what's going to happen, but we know something is going to happen. I'm expecting a fake Freddy um, to happen in this country. I think they're going to happen in a lot of places because they gotta have war so they can have peace and offer you safety. And so I'm under the impression, and some of the things that I've been hearing is like maybe, sometime by the end of the year, something is going to happen. I can definitely see a connection between the high holy days and the feast days in the Bible and things that are happening around the globe. Um, so I would definitely pay attention to the times um, that we're in that coincide with feast days and Sabbaths and high holy Sabbaths, because it just seems as though there's something going on, and there's a pattern. If you pay attention to when things happen, you look at the calendar, not the Judaism calendar. Look at the biblical calendar, the one for the true children of Israel, the one set by the moons. Um, there's a pattern. And so if you pay attention to when things happen and that calendar, you can rest assured you would see some stuff happening. So anyway, um, you got to prepare. We got to prepare. I don't know, I have people that watch this channel from everywhere. We don't know when something is going to happen. We don't know what it's going to look like. What we do know is we live in a nation that is considered a melting pot. There are a lot of different people who walk amongst us every day from all over the place. There are people here who shouldn't even be here. The country doesn't even know, and they don't care. If you think that somebody is going to save you, as you can see in this story, how people were um, trapped. People were shot and killed. People had their homes burned while they were in them. Now, I'm not saying that we will have the same situation happen by people who are invaders or, sleeping cells of terrorists. But, you know, black people, we live in America. White people could do this to us at any time. They've done it to us in the past. So, we got a bunch of enemies that we have to worry about. And you don't know who the enemy is at this point. You just have to be ready for any and every type of enemy that could come your way. And, if you have not purchased anything to protect yourselves, you see a lot of these people did not have any weapons. They could have them, but they've been taught the police will come and save them. The military will come save them. Nobody ever thinks those people are not coming and they won't save you, or they won't get there in time to save you. You may need to save yourself. Um, you don't have a plan for your community. You're still trying to figure out how you're going to do stuff for yourself. What happens when a community is invaded? Do you have a plan? Is the plan to escape or is the plan to stay? Do you have a room? Because I imagine in America they don't make rooms for us to seal ourselves off in to if something happens. If you didn't build a room like that for yourself, you don't have one. What is your plan? These are the types of things that we need to be thinking about now, because things are happening really fast when it comes to this world war, this global economic collapse, and these fake Freddies. They're happening, and nothing is making sense. Those of us who are really watching and paying attention are like, wait a minute. How does a nation that got all this money, got all these missiles, got all these defense systems, just let that happen on the border at that? So if it happened there, it will happen here. That's the only point I want to make. As much money as we have been giving those people, and that number of people were killed. Just imagine what's going to happen here. Our border is open like 7-Eleven. And you have people who work in government who are selling us out. So don't think the police are going to save you. The police going to be protecting their own families. Don't think the military going to come save you, because you may not even live close to a military base. You better be trying to prepare to save yourself. That is my takeaway. Something is coming. Everybody knows it. White people are chattering. White people are afraid. I'm not afraid because, one, I haven't done anything except for be peaceful in this nation with other nations of people. They don't like us. We haven't done anything to anybody. They just don't like us. But because there is a perpetual hatred for Israel, and in particular the house of Jacob, we have to be on guard, and you have to protect yourself. That's your God given right. That's natural law. First law of nature. Protect yourself. First rule. So you need to be really figuring out how you're going to do this. If you have been sitting on money and not doing nothing with it, you better be trying to get you some groceries in your house. You better be having stuff stashed in multiple places. And you better be trying to get you some weapons while you still can, because The majority of people around here don't have anything to protect themselves should something like this happen. And that's on you. If you can have something, you should have something. Because if not, you're just a sitting duck. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I'm going to put this story in the description. Please be careful with your comments in the comment sections because they have been deleting comments. Um, but just make sure you're prepping. Keep prepping, keep praying, keep seeking the Most High because that's the only way we're going to escape what is coming on this earth and what is coming to this nation. Everybody is turning against this nation. They've already turned against this nation financially with BRICS and the de-dollarization that is rapidly happening. They've already stopped importing foods and products, although we can't see it yet because we just too involved in escapism. But you will. Soon there won't be no food flowing. Soon there will not be parts for your cars, no computer chips, no phones, no nothing. Heavens forbid if there is a grid down situation. A lot of people are going to starve to death. It's getting cold. You ain't going to have no power. Do you have an alternative source? Do you have extra blankets? Do you have a way to heat your home should the power go out in the middle of the winter? These are the types of things we need to be thinking about because time is winding down and they are accelerating their plans. I I talked to you about it last week with Laudate Diem. We've been talking about it all summer long with these smart cities and these UN Sustainable Development Goals, the agendas. They've been telling you what they were going to do, just didn't know how they were going to do it. But they're not hiding anything. You don't know because you don't want to know. Because we talk about it here on this channel. So if you are here, you've been here for a while, you should be enlightened. You can go back and look at the old videos if you want to know what's coming. I already told you. I expect when they have COP28 this year, a lot of things are going to change. So if you have time to buy stuff and get stuff and take care of, your own preps at your household, you should do that now because it feels like something big is coming. And I ain't just talking about an earthquake. So get ready and stay ready. All right, this is Marley K. Please like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button and hit that bell notification so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload new content. Follow me on Rumble and Odyssey. The links are in the description. That is in the event that this channel is booted. You will have another way to watch my content. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description. I do not post there regularly, but in the event that something happens, I will be posting there to share with you what's going on with me and what's going on in my neck of the woods. Lastly, keep prepping, keep praying, keep seeking the Most High. Pray for sins of commission and sins of omission daily because we cannot make it out of this without the grace and mercy of the Most High. And we want to be found worthy to escape what's coming. All right, y'all. Just think about it. Read these stories of how these terrorists going to wake up and do stuff to you. They already in our neighborhoods, already, all different kinds of people. You don't know who your enemy is. So you need to be really paying attention and trying to figure out how you're going to survive should anything like this happen. Have your plan. You don't have to share it with me, but you do need to have one because America's Day is coming. The whole world is watching. Biblical prophecy must unfold. and it's unfolding faster than we could ever imagine. But some things are out of order. There are a lot of imposters, a lot of fakes, a lot of psyops going on. So just be careful. Um, but make no mistake, something is happening, and it's happening very fast. Don't get caught off guard. All right, y'all. This is Marla K. Love y'all, and I'm out.